Hello, Greenfield. My name is Matt Conway, and I'm the Communications Director for the City of Greenfield. Thank you for joining us today for this important informational session. Property tax exemptions, Veterans Assistance Programs, and the Senior Circuit Breaker Tax Credit are all essential forms of financial relief. But for many in our community, it can often feel daunting to apply for them. That's where we're here to help. Our three presenters will go over the application process, the documents that you need, and answer frequently asked questions about the application process. We hope the information provided today gives you the tools and confidence that you need to apply for these forms of financial relief. Thank you. For all there is to know about property tax exemptions, here is Chief Assessor Randall Austin.
Hello, my name is Randall Austin. I'm the Chief Assessor for the City of Greenfield, and we're here today to talk about exemptions that are available to help with real estate taxes in the City of Greenfield. We have a few different types that are available. Ones for seniors, veterans, and blind are the ones that I'm going to be here to talk about today. And so let's get right into it. When you're applying for an exemption, there's certain documentation that we're going to need. The assessors need to verify the income that you have to see whether or not you qualify, and that comes in a few different ways. We're looking for Social Security information, Medicare, any public assistance that you're getting, any pensions or retirement income, wages of any kind. So a 1099, if you have a property, a rental property, or if you own a two-family home, we'll need to see if you have the other side rented out and the income that you're getting from that. Any dividends and interest that you're getting from bank accounts and that type of thing is what we're looking to verify. There's also an asset requirement. So we're looking to see what type of assets you have. If you have a rental or timeshare, stocks and bonds, CDs, checking accounts, money market accounts, any type of credit union, IRA, 401k, any type of asset that you have, that's information that we need some type of record of and needs to be disclosed on the applications. So as far as the asset eligibility, we're looking at your assets as of July 1st of 2023, which is basically the start of our fiscal year. For a single person, your total assets cannot exceed $39,296. If you're a married couple, it's a higher amount of $52,395, and it doesn't include the value of your home. So senior exemptions, who is eligible and what are the requirements? Well, initially, when the town adopted it originally, the age requirement was 70, but we have adopted 67 to make it a little bit quicker for people to be able to qualify. You need to own and occupy your home for the last 5 years and have been a Mass resident for the last 10 years. And again, you have to meet those income and asset eligibility requirements. So one of the, or the benefit that is of the greatest value for seniors, if you can qualify, is the Clause 41C, which is a $1,000 exemption amount from your total tax amount for the year. So again, for this year, if you're a single person, your income cannot exceed $26,197. But part of that income is going to be a pension or Social Security, and there's an exclusion amount that's built in that actually brings our amount to a higher amount of $31,851. So you can't make more than $31,851 and qualify as a single person. So for a married couple, the limits are a little bit higher, and the income can't exceed the $39,296. With a Social Security exclusion and Social Security / pension exclusion of $84.80, bringing the total that you can't exceed for a married couple to $47,776. So that provides that $1,000 benefit, and those are the requirements and the information that we're going to need to verify it. But there is another senior exemption that is available, and it's this 17D. It is for seniors, it is for surviving spouses, or for a surviving minor child whose parents have passed away. Again, some requirements are you need to be living in the domicile for at least 5 years, and either the surviving spouse must remain unmarried. If you get remarried, you would no longer qualify, but this is at any age. You can be 20 years old and have unfortunately lost your spouse, and you would qualify for this $175 exemption amount. There is no income requirement, but the asset requirement is still there, so your assets can't exceed $52,395. That covers it, the exemptions that we have for the seniors. We also have exemptions that are available for legally blind people. It's like 37A, and the exemption amount is $500. The requirements are that we will need a current certificate of blindness from the Massachusetts Commission for the Blind. And that's something, it has to be current. We can't take one from 1 year. As you apply every year, we'll need another certificate that shows it's current. And again, you must own the property as of July 1st. For all of the exemptions, the qualification date is July 1st. With this particular exemption, there are no income or asset stipulations. That brings us to our veterans exemptions. So there's several exemptions that are available for veterans, but they're all based off of a disability that you have that is connected to your service, your time in the service. If you have a service-connected disability of 10% or more, you will qualify for this Clause 22A exemption. It's a $400 exemption. Or actually, I'm not sure on the letter on that, and we'll get into that a little later. But who's eligible for this? So you have to have that service-connected disability. It's something that you're notified through the VA, and there's a benefits letter that you would get every year that we would need to qualify you. Who is available besides the disability? Any veteran that was awarded a Purple Heart or a Gold Star mother or father. And if you are the surviving spouse of military personnel, you and remain unmarried after the spouse has passed away, you're eligible for whatever exemption they were qualified for while they were there, while they were with us. There are other veterans exemptions, and depending on the percentage of your disability or the complication, I guess, of the disability, there are other ones that are available. This Clause 22A. And so this is for veterans who have suffered in the line of duty the loss or permanent loss of one foot or hand or eye. As the hardship that is being borne increases, so do the benefit amounts. So the 22B is a greater amount of $1,250 for veterans who have suffered the loss or permanent loss of both feet, hands, or eyes. So that's a greater exemption. Then if it's to the point where there is special housing, especially adapted housing that's needed, and let's say a paraplegic situation, there's a greater benefit of $1,500 that's available. There are additional veteran exemptions too, so including this 22D, which is a full exemption from all real estate taxes. Now, this is something for the surviving spouse of someone that has, been in the service, married to the spouse, and they passed away as a result of their disability that they received from their wartime service in the past. It was Agent Orange and just like an Agent Orange situation, but recently they've expanded it, and it's a little bit more far-reaching. There is the Clause 22E, which is a $1,000 exemption, and that is for anyone that has 100% disability. In some cases, you might have less than 100% disability, but you're being paid at the 100% rate due to unemployability or some other factor, and that you would still qualify for the 22E, which is the $1,000 exemption. And then there's another 22F, which is another full exemption, and that's for someone that has passed away in the line of duty. So as far as the timeline and procedure, if you are a first-time applicant and it's something that you've never done in the past, visit the assessor's office and talk to us about getting an application. We'd be happy to provide you one and some additional information and answer any questions that you have at that time. But once you are in our system and you've received that exemption, then we start doing a follow-up every year. We wait until the qualification date of July 1st, and then we'll send out the applications to anyone that's received them in the previous year. And in some cases, we'll send along an informational letter, especially for seniors. We figure that at some point someone's going to be helping them out, and then they're going to need some information about what the process is. And it tells about some of the different documentation that we need and gives our number in case there's any questions. So the following year you're going to receive it, and once you're in the system, then even our billing system is going to anticipate that you will receive this benefit the following year, and it's going to adjust your tax bill so that it's more of a true quarterly amount. The sooner you return it to us, the better. The deadline is December 15th. We'd like to have them a little bit in advance of that, and the goal is to get it into our system so that the billing system will take that into account, and it won't be something where we'll have to send you a check back. It's just going to kind of calculate it in. So the deadline we're saying is December 15th, but the actual deadline for returning the information to the assessor's office to qualify for any given fiscal year, for instance for fiscal 24, is April 1st of 2025. So you have 3/4 of the fiscal year to apply and get this information back to us. The important thing is to get us at least the application by that time, and if there's additional paperwork, then we have some time to work with. But it's basically no later than 3 months after the first actual tax bill is mailed, which is the January tax bill. So 90 days after that is April 1st, and that's how we get to that date. So I appreciate your patience while I was talking, and does anyone have any questions?
Yes. Why is it better to have the application in December versus the April deadline?
As I said, or actually, it's because we want to be able to calculate that into the bill. So before I create the bills for the January billing, I want to know that you have gotten the exemption. We've received the application. It's been voted by the Board of Assessors and granted. And then I can have that worked into your tax bill so that we're not asking for as much money. And that's, kind of a tax bill question. I have some other information that I'm going to disclose, and it's about the tax bill. Do you have any other questions that have to do with the tax bill?
Yes. When do tax bills come out, and when are they due?
So the tax bills come out on a quarterly basis. We're a quarterly billing community with a fiscal year that starts January 1st or July 1st and ends June 30th. And so the tax bills go out on a quarterly basis, July, October, January, and April. And you have 30 days to pay before it would be overdue.
And why does the value of my property not appear on the bill?
So we, as I said, are a quarterly billing community, and we send out the first 2 bills that you get, and they're referred to as a preliminary bill. It's a preliminary bill because we don't at this time know the tax rate, and our values haven't been approved. If we're making any adjustments to our values, they need to be approved by the Department of Revenue, and that hasn't happened yet. That happens usually, historically, for the town of Greenfield in November. So we have a classification hearing, and the tax rate is set by the City Council, and our values have been approved prior to that, and that's why the first 2 bills that you get are preliminary, and the second 2 we call actual bills. And we call them actual because now we know for sure what the tax rate is. We know for sure what we're saying your value is and what your portion of taxes is going to be according to those 2 factors.
And if I think my tax bill is too high, is there something I can do?
There's a certain time of year, yes, when you can appeal or apply for an abatement to your real estate taxes. And that is in January 1st to February 1st. You have 30 days to apply.
For more information on property tax exemptions and other assessor-related content, visit the greenfieldma.gov website and use the assessor's webpage. For all there is to know about the Senior Circuit Breaker Tax Credit, here's Rebecca Banish, the Money Matter Program Coordinator for Community Action Pioneer Valley.
Hi, my name is Rebecca Banish. I'm the Money Matters Coordinator at Community Action Pioneer Valley. So excited to be here to talk to you guys today about VITA tax clinics and the Senior Circuit Breaker Credit. So we have our first question. Why don't you let me know what you're wondering about?
How do I know if I am eligible?
That is a great question. So the Senior Circuit Breaker Credit is a Massachusetts state tax credit, and it's designed to reduce housing costs for seniors. In tax year 23, the credit is going to be worth up to $2,400. So eligibility is based on a couple of things. You have to be a Massachusetts resident over 65, and your gross income can't exceed $64,000 for single individuals. Married couples, the limit's a bit higher, $96,000. So if those two things apply to you, the next criteria is that you are housing burdened. And so for a homeowner, that means that your property taxes plus half of your water and sewer payments have to exceed 10% of your total income. If you're a renter, 25% of your annual rent must exceed 10% of your income. So I'm going to put some numbers to those numbers. If you are making $30,000 a year, then your property taxes and half of your sewer payments would need to exceed $3,000 for you to be eligible for the credit. If you're a senior, if you're making $30,000 a year, you're a senior, you're a renter. If your rent is more than $1,000 a month, then you would qualify. But again, it's dependent on your income and your housing costs. Any other questions?
Yes. How do I get the senior circuit breaker credit?
I love answering that. So to get the credit, you need to file a state tax return. Oftentimes, seniors stop filing returns because they aren't required to anymore, but that means that you could really be missing out, and sometimes on a significant amount of money. So you want to make sure that you file a tax return this year particularly because they raised the amount of the credit. So you want to make sure you file a tax return to get that money that you're owed. There are lots of ways to file for free. You should never have to pay to file your taxes. The IRS has online free file options, so you can go to their website and find out ways to file online for free. But you can also get in-person tax help from a VITA clinic. So VITA stands for Volunteer Income Tax Assistance. And in our area, Community Action Pioneer Valley runs the VITA clinics. So you would come, bring your big stack of documents, come in person, sit down with an IRS certified volunteer, and they'll walk you through the whole process to make sure you get that senior circuit breaker credit if you're eligible. Any other questions?
Yes. What information do I need when I file?
Great question. So when you're getting ready to file the senior circuit breaker credit, you want to make sure you have all of your tax documents handy. So that includes any W-2s, 1099s, or healthcare forms. Again, you are filing a tax return in order to get this credit. But you'll also need information about your housing costs. So if you're a homeowner, you'll need documents showing the total property taxes you paid for 2023, the assessed value of your home, and any water and sewer payments that you made. So you can have that by keeping track of your property tax bills. You can just bring those into your tax appointment. But if you lost track of them, or maybe you're filing for a few years, just call the assessor's office. They'll be able to help you get all of those documents and information. If you're a renter, it's a little bit easier. So you need the total amount of rent that you paid in, for instance, if you're filing for 2023, total amount of rent you paid for 2023, as well as your landlord's name and address. But that's all you need if you're a renter.
Can I get help to apply?
Yeah, so you can definitely get help. So when you come to a tax clinic, what you do is you give us your documents and we'll do all of the paperwork for you. So we'll walk you through the whole process, make sure you're eligible, and then help you submit that tax return. And that's how you'll get that money, is as a refund at the end of whenever you file.
I did not know about this last year. Is it too late to get the credit?
No, it's not too late. So if you missed out, you can actually file for the last 3 years without any penalty for filing late. The tricky part is usually tracking down all of those documents and from the previous years and getting everything aligned. But after that, come to Community Action. We can help you file for free. So if you filed for the last 3 years, so 21, 22, and 23, and you were getting the full amount of the credit for those years, you would be getting $4,770. So that's a pretty significant chunk of money at once that is yours to use how you will, whether you want to, work on your house, need to pay some bills, repair your car. That money is available to you from the state, and you want to make sure that you're getting it. So thank you, everyone, for asking questions today, for having me. You can learn more about filing taxes at Community Action at www.communityaction.us/taxes, and we'd love to work with you this tax season.
For all there is to know about Veteran Services, here is Veteran Service Director Chris DeMars.
Hello, my name is Chris DeMars. I'm the Director of the Upper Pioneer Valley Veteran Service District, and I'm here to talk about some of the benefits for veterans in our area. First off, I'd like to know that every town in Massachusetts has a Veteran Service Officer. Our office covers all of Franklin County except for Orange, Massachusetts. The first benefit I'd like to talk to you about today is Chapter 115. Chapter 115 is a financial assistance with monthly budgets that can help lower daily living expenses based on income from all sources. Eligibility. To be eligible for Chapter 115, you must be a veteran who was discharged under honorable conditions and a resident of Massachusetts, and during wartime must have served at least 90 days, and in peacetime 180 days. Dependents are also eligible for this benefit if they're an unmarried spouse, a child, or a parent if they were supported by the veteran. Widows or widowers of a veteran are eligible for the same benefits that their veteran spouse would have received. How am I eligible for these benefits? The state breaks it down by two types of eligibility. So it comes down to single individuals and married couples. So if you're a single veteran or a single dependent looking for benefits, it's based off of an income level of less than $2,430 and an asset level less than $8,400. If you are a married couple applying for this benefit, you must make less than $3,287 and have an asset level less than $16,600. This is based off of 200% below the poverty level. But you can qualify if you're just above that level for a medical-only program for Chapter 115. Basically, the income is greater than the program limits, but you're eligible for medical reimbursements, which brings your spend down from that income level. If you're above, the medical will bring it down. So what kind of medical reimbursements count to bring down this spend down? So Medicare Parts B, C, and D premiums, Medigap premiums, other health insurance premiums, co-pays for doctors and prescriptions, and some over-the-counter medical necessity items. We also calculate by using shared expenses. Basically, other adults living in the home besides the spouse count for shared expenses. So housing and fueling that we supply monetarily will be split by the number of the adults living in the home, as I said, other than the spouse. So what can I get for benefits as a veteran or a dependent? So we break it down to a few different categories where you can receive money. So the first off is ordinary benefits. So a single individual can receive up to $833, and a married couple can receive up to $1,192 in ordinary benefits. On top of that, the applicants can receive shelter allowance. So if you're in an unheated shelter, which means you rent and your heat's not included, or you own a home, you can receive up to $589. If you're in a heated shelter, which is somebody that rents somewhere and the heat's included in their rent, they can receive up to $793. If they're part of the unheated shelter, they can receive an extra fuel benefit, which could be up to $357 a month. Medicare Part B reimbursement. If you are single and you make less than $2,309, or married, you make $3,123, we will reimburse your Medicare payments. Special allowances. If you have children, you will receive $350 for each of your first two children, and then $192 for each additional child. If you are of retirement age, you can receive retired elderly benefits, which is If you're single, $410, and married, $820. Questions?
Where do I go for more information, and how do I apply?
Yeah. So to get more information about Chapter 115, you can call or stop into our office. It's at 294 Main Street in Greenfield. If you want to fill out an application, you must come to our office so we can walk through the application process with you.
And how intense is that application process?
It depends on how much information we're going to need from you. It can be intensive. There's a lot of different things that we need. We need to prove your residency, citizenship, your rent, mortgage, insurances, and your income and assets are the other big things that we will need from you. So it can be an intensive process. Depends on how much we need.
And is this a one-time process?
It is. It's a one-time application to get on the program. Once you get on the program, we'll pay you monthly these benefits, but then every June and December of each year, you will have to recertify for these benefits. We send out a letter 2 months out with what we'll need for you to recertify, and then when you bring that paperwork in, we'll recertify you and continue to receive your benefits.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next thing I'd like to talk to you about is the Veterans Tax Work-Off Program. Now, this tax work-off program, unlike the last program, Chapter 115, was for all the towns of Franklin County. The tax work-off program is specifically for Greenfield. So you can earn up to $1,000 off your taxes by working for the city of Greenfield. The program begins July 1st of the fiscal year and ends December 15th of the same year. And the veterans are not subject to income or asset levels for this program. Any questions?
Yeah, how do I apply, and what kind of work would I do?
Yeah, so the application process, again, would be in our office at 294 Main Street. And the work that you would do would depend on some of the skills you may have, and depending on what department or location in the city of Greenfield could use your assistance for this tax work-off program. Anything else for this?
No, not.
Next program I'd like to talk to is basically just for veterans. It's the Veterans Assistance Fund here in Greenfield. The money was generated by our local Greenfield residents who donated while paying their property taxes. This is for emergency use only. You must have exhausted all other programs, and funds are for the following: food, transportation, heating, and oil. As an example, for exhausting all other programs, if you need money for heating your home, if you have not received heating assistance from other organizations that are out there to help, you'd have to apply for those first. Any questions?
Where do I apply, and how often can I receive benefits?
Yep. So you apply again in our office, 294 Main Street. And the application process for this is once every 3 years.
And how do I receive the money if I'm approved?
Yep. So if you are approved, the money will be sent directly to the vendor that's assisting you with what your assistance is. So if you're looking for money for fuel, the vendor who is going to bring your oil to your home would be the one that we would pay. If you need to get transportation for your vehicle because something broke down in your car, we'd pay to the mechanic who's fixing your vehicle. So it's all vendor supplied. It does not go to the individual veteran.
Thank you.
Welcome. Another program I'd like to talk about when it comes to homelessness for veterans in our area, there's a great program called HUD-VASH. So basically it's a voucher from the VA to help you stay in your home or help you find a home. It's run by the VA. It is highly recommended for homeless or risk of homeless veterans. And you have to contact a VA HUD-VASH counselor to get this program going. And it's designed to be a long-term program to keep a veteran from being homeless again. Any questions?
Yeah, how do I contact the VA regarding HUD-VASH? Yep.
So here in Franklin County, we do have a local VA clinic in Greenfield, but they are not the one that you'd want to contact. You'd want to contact the VA hospital in Northampton/Leeds, Massachusetts. You want to call their regular number, which is 413-584-4040, And when you listen to Barry, who's the operator, who'll answer the phone, you want to tell Barry that you would like to speak to a HUD-VASH counselor because you want to apply for a HUD-VASH certificate. Any other questions?
No, thank you very much.
No, thank you.
For more information on veteran services, visit the greenfieldma.gov website and click on the Veteran Services page.